Let's try this again. I've tried this like 3 times now. I might stick some zippers or something in, but we'll see. But anyway, I'm going to do my first time tag questions, which you can't even see because there's too much bright light on from my phone. But that's okay. So I'm getting these questions from, you can't see her. But from Leanne Says, straight from her video thing. Not tagged or anything, but gonna do it for fun. So it's question 1. Here we go. Question 1. Do you still talk to your first love? Well, first official big true love kind of thing where it's actually love. I'll be honest. Yes, I do. It's my husband. I'm pathetic. I am boring. I was very sheltered as a child. So, yes, I still talk to my first love. I'm actually still with my first love. Does that count? What was your first alcoholic drink? You know what? I think it was either a strawberry daiquiri or a lime basic margarita. Most likely something like that, or like a margarita on the rocks. Unless you count like sips of beer. Otherwise, I'm a very, very boring person. I did get sex on the beach and I wasn't 21 at a club. I think that counts too. I was 19. Whoops. I broke the law. Oh well. I broke the law. Don't drink until you're 21 or 18 or whatever the age is, the legal age is in your country. Now get off my lawn. What was your first job? My first job was I was a clerical assistant at the University of Southern Indiana. They were doing fundraising at the time, so I did a lot of alphabetizing, putting things into databases. I even had to man like a front desk for an hour or two to cover lunches. I did a lot of forms, like form with Word and printing out stuff like that, stuffing envelopes. Oh my God, my tongue still has not recovered from that. And I was 14. But it was back when minimum wage was like $5.15. I did it for a whole month, and honestly, it's still one of the best jobs I've ever had, and I would love to go back to doing something like that. Okay, what was your first car? I had a 91, I think it was, Ford Tempo. Biggest piece of shit in the world. Biggest piece of crap. I hated that car. A sign of how much I hated it, I'm usually pretty anal about making sure I have all my windows rolled up and everything like that. Especially since I lived in Florida. If you lived in Florida, you know, it can go from bright, sunny, beautiful day to whoosh, downpour. And it can be just right over your car and that's it. Nowhere else. That's Florida. So I didn't do that. And I'd been going back to classes for about 2 weeks. And I flooded my car. I had all my windows rolled down. Flooded my car. Still ran. And because it gets so hot in Florida, it didn't even mold. It smelled kind of stanky for a bit. But I literally ran that car to death. My brakes went out when driving home from school. Literally went out. I mean, I had no brakes. Josh had to drive it to the brake place using the emergency brake. And by the time we got to there, the emergency brake had went out. The only thing not broke on it was the brake lines itself, and that was even after going over into like a little ditch because he couldn't stop and it ran over. That was like the one and only time he ever let me drive his Sonoma. And that's what I'm like, oh, he really does like me. He's letting me drive his truck. So I was driving his truck. His friend was driving his car. His friend's car. All met up there. Just in case something bad happened. So. I killed my first car. Who was the first person to text you today? If we do not count WIBW's weather updates, because I get those at 6:59, between 6:55 and 7:10 every morning for weather updates, because I need those, because it helps for planning for kids, what they're going to wear, and how my day is going to go. That would be Josh letting me know that gas bills and that mail was kind of crazy heavy, and that he was going to definitely not be done until after 5, and that's after giving away an hour. Those are texts I like to get. Sort of. Who was the first person you thought of today? Well, a lot of people have been saying myself, or themselves. I'll be honest, I don't even remember. I think I woke up thinking of Josh and those things because he was kissing me goodbye. I usually wake up. I mean, a lot of people are thinking of themselves like, I have to pee or I have to. I usually think it's usually Josh waking me up because he's got to go to work. So that's usually who I'm thinking of. Okay. Who was your first grade teacher? I don't know. I moved from Florida to Indiana when my dad got custody of me between first grade and second grade. I switched schools between kindergarten and first grade. And like I think first grade I switched schools twice. So I was those first 2 years of school I don't remember anything. So I can tell you my second, third, fourth, fifth, some of my sixth, seventh, eighth, and then all like quite a few of my high school ones. But I cannot tell you my kindergarten and first grade teachers. Just can't. Where did you go for your first ride on an airplane? That's actually pretty easy for me. It was not long after my biological mother had custody of us, sole custody. For some reason, they had to come up to Indiana while we were living in Florida, so I flew from Florida to Indiana, and then from Indiana back to Florida. I don't really remember the plane ride, but pretty much all of my plane rides have been from Florida to Indiana, or Indiana to Florida, or St. Louis somewhere, or Kansas City somewhere. I don't really go many places most of the time, especially now. It's all just driving. Who is your first best friend, and do you still talk? My first best friend was when I was in second grade. Her name was Gina Simpson. She moved between second and third grade. So, and I think she moved, I think it was like New York or something. So, no, we don't talk. It's like at random times I'll think about her. But no, I would love to reconnect with her. That'd be awesome. Just to see how her life turned out and stuff like that. I think that would be kind of nice. Where was your first sleepover? I'll be honest, I don't know. I'm assuming like staying at grandparents or cousins don't count. Because if cousins count, then it was usually with my cousin Amanda. I would spend like weeks at her place. Like she'd go to her dad's for the weekend, and I would go with her, and then we'd come back, and I would stay with her for like a week at her mom's because we lived the same district. It was just riding a different bus, and the bus drivers, my parents no one had to even leave notes anymore. After a while, they're like, "Oh, hello, get on, whatever." They didn't care anymore. So otherwise, there wasn't really many sleepovers. Most of them, if they happened, they usually happened at my place. Because usually a little bit bigger space. Who was the first person you talked to today? This kind of goes with the who was the first person you thought of thing. Obviously, my husband. Well, look, I didn't really talk. I kind of at him. I couldn't wake up this morning. I had a little bit of a migraine hangover. And then the next thing I talked to, Maddie, it was Madison. I asked her if she took a shower yet. And then I was yelling at Ethan to get up out of bed. Because that's what I gotta do every morning because that boy does not want to get up. Whose wedding were you in for the first time? I'm not sure if I was in my Aunt Anne's wedding. I was actually in it. I was just there. But the wedding I remember being in was my best friend Julie's. I was a bridesmaid. And I remember bawling like a baby and then having to walk up and down the aisle and walk around with like holding my zipper up because it was perfectly fine, no issues until the day I put it on, the day of the wedding, the zipper freaking broke. $130 for a freaking dress, and it breaks the one day I need it. That's insanity. That's the very definition of insanity, I would say. What was the first thing you did this morning? Hit the snooze button. Many times. That's what I did. Basically, I can't really say anything. What else did I do? I hit the snooze button. What was the first concert you ever went to? That would be, there was this combination. It was this really big concert deal thing. It was like 4 or 5 different artists, and it was country. Clint Black, I believe, was the headliner. I can't even tell you who it was. I remember it so. I don't remember the music. I remember the music, obviously. I don't remember exactly who the artists were, but I could actually almost tell you exactly where I sat and everything like that. I just remember I was about 9 or 10, and my dad and my mom took me and my brother, and because it's a country concert, somebody's gonna get drunk and is gonna puke. Puked it right in the aisle. It was like 4 seats down, and it smelled so bad. I mean, I always start, I mean, you know that alcohol puke smell. It's just the thought of it right now is making one hurl. But it smelled so bad. My dad was just so sweet. He like switched seats with me, and then kept me close so that I could like. It sounds kind of weird, but I was listening to music, and I would bury my face in like his shirt because his shirt. It was when growing up. My dad is a mechanic, and so it was like everything he was always in. He always smelled like grease and oil and car parts and gasoline. So like even to this day, I can like smell freshly pumped gasoline from a gas station, and I'm like, and I feel, I know it sounds weird as hell, but I feel safe. So, but whenever we went out places like that, his clothes were always just smell so clean, and he'd wear like aftershave, even if he hadn't shaved. It would smell really good. It was just one of those scents that I will always contribute to my dad. It's like Josh has like tried to get like, one of the versions of Old Spice, and Josh has tried to get it, and I'm like, that's my dad's scent. No. So, that's my first concert. It was a country concert. I remember spending time with my brother and my dad and my mom. First broken bone. This is actually my only broken bone. Broke my arm right here. I'm kind of see where it's got like a lump there. Where I broke it. Is it like a permanent? I have a permanent bump to it. You can see it. It curves. First and only. The story was kind of bad. I was 3rd grade. It was May, and that was back when school ended in like June. So I was like just a few weeks before school was ending, and I was at a cousin's house. We were riding our bikes. We decided to go down a hill. I was riding a 5-speed, which meant no back brake, like no pedal brakes. It was all hand brakes, and they didn't tell me that the brakes had gone out. So it's a bike that shouldn't have been being ridden in the first place. So I was going down this hill, going down, 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 and it's like a hill that's like this kind of angle. I went down, and I knew I wasn't going to be able to stop. So I did what I probably not the sanest choice, but I went to a driveway that had those concrete barriers, is about this tall, and hit that. I went head over heels, tumbled, and just stopped my fall. I put my hands down, which I wasn't wearing a helmet. I wasn't wearing any pads or anything like that. So I was protecting. It literally was doing it. My first thought was to protect my head. I did protect my head because if I wouldn't have stopped myself like that, I would have slammed into a tree head first. So I got a broken arm instead of a busted skull. And it didn't hurt. I mean, I heard it. And it's like, that is the worst sound you could ever hear. And I spent 6 weeks in a cast. Summer. Suck balls. But when I took it, when they took it off and they're like asking me to move it, I went like this and smacked my orthopedist. But I had a really good orthopedist. He is the same one that had my dad for his when he broke his arm many years ago. So he was just awesome. I got lucky. First, piercing. I'm, of course, as always, very boring. My first piercing were my ears, these bottom holes. Well, apparently I had them done when I was an infant, but I guess they got like closed up or something. But then I got these when I was about between 7 and 8. See how low it is? This is what happens when they're super, super low. That is an actual rip in my ear. That's probably too much information. But that's my first piercing. And then since then I've gotten the second holes up here. So this ear actually has 2 holes, and this one has the one. I've tried to get like next to them, and I still kind of have the holes there. But every time I get them done, no matter where I get them done or how I get them done or how well I take care of them or anything like that, they always get infected. So I just leave them alone. First foreign country you've gone to? Never been. I've never been out of the U.S. Not once. I've got a list of places I want to go that are out of this country, but I haven't been. Doesn't look like he's going to have any time in the future either. First movie you remember seeing? Seeing in theaters, honestly, I'd have to say it would probably be like something like Titanic when I was a freshman, sophomore, I think. Might have been older than that. I don't quite remember when it came out. But I went and I saw it with my aunt. I didn't really, like I said, I didn't have a lot of people that I hung out with, so I didn't go see a lot of movies. And I really didn't see them in theaters. Even now, they're just not that enjoyable to me at all. In theaters. I mean, I've seen all of the Transformer movies in theaters. I've seen all of the Lord of the Rings, the first Hobbit. I mean, I've seen a lot of movies in theaters. I just prefer being able to veg in my own bed and not being told what candies I can't bring my own candy in, can't have my own sodas, that kind of stuff. So, when was your first detention? That would be 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, one of those grades. It was it was middle school, I think, or was it high school or elementary school? I think it was middle school. I was supposed. I think I got in trouble for saying something that I was supposed to say. I think I teacher to go fuck off. It's my first time ever getting in trouble. I had a lot of like issues and things like that. Like they was able to show issues and things that had happened. So I remember exactly what it was. I'm pretty sure I told the teacher to F off. Or I told a kid to F off. I told somebody to F off. So I was getting, because it was my first time ever being in trouble, like, since I started school, I was told that I need to go have lunch in the principal's office or with the assistant principal. I didn't do it. So I got in school suspension for that. I'm cool like that. Seriously, my problems with getting in trouble were always stupid shit like that. So, who was your first roommate? Well, that was weird. It's like a spider web just flew past my eyes. I don't know what it was, but it wasn't that. But anyway, my first roommate. You don't count my brother, and then my sister. It would Grace. I was gonna say Josh, but no, it wasn't Josh. It was Grace. My friend Grace and I, we shared a bedroom. A 2-bedroom apartment. It was me, her, and her grandmother. Wow. That was a while ago. That was, let's see, Maddie's 10. That was 12 years ago. Holy crap! Ugh. Wow. If you had one wish, what would it be? For me, there's, I would like not to ever have to worry about money. I like the idea there was this storyline or something. There was a what if thing. If you could have like a certain amount of money or an unlimited amount of money, or like when you go to pay for something, you had the exact amount of money that you needed in your pocket. So like you went to Walmart and you spent $93.76. You reach into your pocket and pull out $93.76 always. I like that idea. That's my wish. That means we'd always have money for rent and everything like that, but we'd still have money for other stuff. And that's what I want. That's my wish. What is something you would learn if you had the chance? I'd like to fully learn German. I mean, I can speak the basics of it. I took it in high school, middle school, and high school, and I love it. And it's like I tried Spanish, and not for me. So, not the language for me. But German, I got it so easily. I was like, really? This is supposed to be hard? See, German's supposed to be harder to learn than Spanish. Spanish was supposedly one of the easier foreign languages to learn. Apparently, if you can figure out English, you can figure out any language. Nope. Not me. What were the first lessons you ever took? I honestly didn't take any. I mean, I did, like, gymnastics for, like, a month. I did some flute, the recorder thing. But otherwise, I really didn't take any lessons of any sort. I wasn't into the extracurriculars. I did German club and I did stuff like that, but no lessons. So, who was the first person beauty related on YouTube you ever watched? I think it was 11th Gorgeous. I'm not sure. 11th Gorgeous, Emily Noel, Leanne Says, Graveyard Girl, It's Judy Time. Yeah, pretty much those. Okay, so it's my first. Okay, that was odd. And that was basically it. So I'll be back Wednesday with something, and then maybe Friday. We'll see how the Monday, Wednesday, Friday things go. I've got like a huge link of like tag questions to be able to answer. We'll see how that goes. So I'll see you later. Bye.